My name is Sorana Vale. I finished my basic magical studies 2 months ago, and this is my journal. I'm writing this just in case something happens. I learned all the theory, the words, the diagrams. I learned how magic should work, in tidy shapes and careful circles. But I never really got to use it. After graduation, every student is assigned to a master. Mine was Lady Holtz. She's an old wizard, once a teacher at the school, with gray hair and a serious wrinkled face. Her proficiency is arcane magic. See, every magic user is born with a certain potential: fire, ice, nature, or one of the many other styles. But mine hasn't shown itself yet. That's why I'm with Lady Holtz, and she doesn't seem thrilled about it. She looks at me like a door that doesn't quite fit its frame. Soon after, Lady Holtz was assigned a quest, and I was told to join her. We left the magic grounds before dawn. The air tasted of rain and cold iron. She said very little, only that we were heading to a village called Greycliff, near the northern cliffs. Something was taking their livestock: sheep, goats, smaller animals. It seemed simple enough. Maybe a dire wolf? The path to Greycliff wound through dark, misty pines. The trees here seemed to bend like they were listening. I kept seeing shapes move in the corners of my eyes. Lady Holtz looked weary. The journey seemed hard on her. She refused to use magic to travel, calling it a waste. When we arrived in Greycliff, the people stared. Not with welcome, but with fear, or maybe resentment. I sometimes forget that to many, magic isn't a wonder, it's an interference. But then my mood lifted. I saw a young girl with dark hair and bright green eyes waving at me, beckoning me to play. She reminded me of the younger girls back at school. Her name was Ellen. She wasn't scared or judgmental.
My mother says you are a dangerous magic wizard.
Before I could answer, her mother called her inside, warning her not to play with strangers. Lady Holtz pulled me aside.
It is best not to get too familiar with these people.
Later in the inn, we met with the village elders. They were distrustful but desperate. They described something big and flying with the face of a lizard, stealing their animals. The hunters had tracked it and had a good idea of where its nest was.
Probably a lither. A large, winged, dragon-like creature.
Without another word of explanation, she retired to her room for the night. We would investigate in the morning. I was a bit disappointed. I'd hoped to learn more from her, but she just closed herself off. Maybe it's because my potential is still a mystery. I've heard some girls lose their magic entirely as they get older. Perhaps she thinks I'm a waste of her time. Still, as I lay in bed, I couldn't help but feel a thrill of excitement. This was my first real adventure. After a while, I fell asleep. Then, a roar shattered the night. Panic. Screaming. I threw on my clothes and rushed outside. "It's back!" someone shouted. I heard the powerful beat of wings fading into the distance. Then a woman's shriek tore through the chaos. "My daughter, Ellen! It took my daughter!" It was her mother, consumed by panic. "We have to go after it!"
Nonsense. The night holds more dangers than a lither. We wait until dawn.
But the girl...
I told you not to get attached.
I went back to my room, but I was devastated. Logically, she was right, but how could she be so cold? Dawn felt like an eternity away. Morning came gray and dull. The villagers watched us with disdain in their eyes. We were sent to protect them, and we had done nothing. The hunters were waiting at the edge of the village. 3 men wrapped in furs, their faces carved by wind and hunger. They didn't greet us. They just pointed towards the northern ridge where they'd found the creature's trail. We followed them into the silent forest. Lady Holtz walked ahead, her staff marking a steady rhythm on the frozen ground. I watched how she moved, so measured, so contained. I wondered who she was before she learned such restraint. The hunters led us to a clearing where a faint path of torn brush led up toward the cliffs.
The thing is nesting up near the old watch caves.
Magic folk better earn your coin.
We will do what we can.
The cave mouth yawned from the cliffside, littered with bones. The hunters hesitated. Lady Holtz did not. She stepped forward, raised her staff, and whispered a word I didn't recognize. Purple runes on her staff flickered, and the air shimmered with clean, precise arcane power. We entered the cave. At first, we only heard the soft sound of rolling stone. Then it attacked out of nowhere in ambush. It moved without a sound. Claws flashed. One hunter fell. Another screamed as he was dragged into the darkness.
Asterion!
A lance of purple energy shot from her staff, striking the creature. It shrieked. It panicked and attacked in a rage, coming straight for me. Time slowed. I didn't think. There were no runes, no training. I blacked out. I was going to die. Just pure, desperate need. Something inside me broke open. Light black and gold, like lightning trapped in glass, erupted from my whole being, forming a protective shell around me. The world warped. The creature struck the invisible barrier and roared in pain as its talons seemed to burn. My breath tore from my chest. It wasn't pain, it was release. I saw a flash of mistrust in Lady Holtz's eyes. She fired another arcane bolt, and the creature collapsed, its bones cracking. Silence returned, heavy and real. The purple gold light around me faded. Lady Holtz just stared at me. The girl! Oh no. Bones, blood, and a scrap of her familiar clothing. No, I whispered, a tear escaping my eye. Lady Holtz's face was unreadable.
That's it. We should return.
The walk back was grim. The surviving hunter didn't speak. This wasn't a victory. It was a profound loss. My heart ached for Ellen's mother. We returned to the village, but no one came out to greet us. In the longhouse, the eldest man nodded. "We thank you," he said, his words choked with sorrow. The hunter pushed a pouch of coin toward Lady Holtz. "Take it. Go." We left. As we walked away, I heard the sound of a mother's heartbroken cries from one of the houses. Anger coiled in my gut. Anger at the creature, at the loss, at Lady Holtz. I felt like we could have done more.
You acted without thought. You're too emotional. This life might not be for you. And your potential, it's chaos magic of all things.
Chaos magic? I'd read about it. It was incredibly rare. A raw power that could mimic other forms. I felt a confusing mix of pride and fear.
It's a potential for criminals. I don't know any chaos mage who hasn't been consumed by it. We will deal with this back at the academy.
And so we continued our journey in silence, my heart heavy with grief and confusion. This was only the beginning. Thank you so much for joining me on the first entry of Sorana's travelogue. If you enjoyed this story and want to find out what happens next, please hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures. See you in the next one.